If you're looking for some players to sign in FM24, then this video is for you, because today we have got a signing for every save. That's right, we're jumping into FM to give you guys some options to sign in your saves, and today I'm hoping there'll be something for everyone, because I've got over 30 players. We're going to go position by position, and the idea being, let's say we start off with goalkeeper, there'll be one player underneath £1 million, one player between 1 and 5 million, and then one player between the 5 and 15 million pound brackets. Obviously, with the price going up, the players get a little bit better, but hopefully, whatever kind of save you're running, there'll be some players here that you can pick up and either have them become superstars for you or sell them on for massive profits within a year or so, because they are all bargains, they're all under the age of 25 as well, so hopefully we've got something for you. And we'll start off with the goalkeepers. Now, I'm not going to spend ages on each individual player with the amount that we've got to get through, but get your notepad down, start writing down these names. This is João Gonçalves, who plays in the Portuguese leagues for Boa Vista, also known in game as BVT. He's available for under £1 million. It looks like here about 500k might get this deal over the line for a 22-year-old goalkeeper who looks decent already, but obviously has the potential to grow. Now, throughout this video, ignore these star ratings, because in this save, I am Chelsea, so these guys are being compared to, Caicedo, Cole Palmer, Fernandes, so don't worry about the stars too much. But if you were, say, a high-level championship team looking for a goalkeeper for the future, he could be a great option. Now, whether you can convince him to leave his club is another question, but keep your eyes on him. If you can sign him, you will have a great goalie. But what about if you've got a bit more money to spend? Maybe you're a slightly higher caliber of club, then you might want to take a look in the Russian divisions at Krasnodar, where you will find Matvey Safonov, who has been a goalkeeper that has been a great option in FM for a number of years. He's available for under £5 million, and at 24, being a Russian international, he is not yet even at his prime. He's still going to get better, and there's already lots of great attributes to go off of here. Yes, a few weaknesses too, but he's got great reflexes, good aerial reach, 6'4", and a great goalkeeper for, say, a lower level Premier League side. But if you're a top tier team, maybe one that's competing in European competition, then take a look at former Chelsea and PSG goalkeeper Marcin Bulka, who now plays for Nice out in France, supposedly considered an important player for his club and probably going to get some Poland caps in the future, I'm sure, in the FM world. He's available for underneath that £15 million bracket. In fact, for him, you're only looking at about 7 or 8 million for a very good goalkeeper, age 23, already an important player at one of the larger sides in France, and give it a few years, he is going to be ready to play for some of the best clubs in the world. I've seen him grow into a superstar, and if you signed him, you would get an unbelievable player. So now you get the kind of concept that we're going to be doing with this video, 3 options for each position. If you do go on to enjoy it, smash the like button for us, let us know who you always sign in the comments down below. If we can get more options down there, it will make this video an even better place for people to come when they're looking for new signings. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And should you want to see some of these guys in action, I do have my own channel linked in the description, where we rebuild plenty of clubs, and I've signed a lot of these guys in the past, so any support over there would be great. But let's carry on with this very long list. And we now move up from the boring position of goalkeeper into the defence, where we'll be taking a look first at our right backs. I have found this option, never used him myself, but by the looks of it, he seems to be an absolute bargain. His name is Simon Alexander Santos Lingbo. I don't know if that's how it's pronounced, but he is a Philippine international, 25 years of age, playing for Persik. They're a club out in Indonesia. Now, you can sign him for an absolute minimal fee. He's not going to want a crazy contract either. And if you look at him, I mean, he can play left back and right back. He's good with both feet, and there's a lot of great attributes to go off. I don't really see the issue with this guy as to why he's so cheap. I guess because of the division he's in, but scout him. If he looks half decent in your save, which he will, he'll look like this in every save. But if your scouts think he'll be a good player for you, then get him in. I mean, he's not going to cost you anything. There's no risk and a lot of reward. For you guys with a slightly larger budgets, you might want to head over to Osasuna. If you don't have a name fixing game, they'll be known as Atletico Pamplona, but there is a 25-year-old Spaniard in their ranks by the name of Jesus Arezzo, who is a regular starter for a team in the top side of Spain. As you can see, the attributes are very well rounded. Is he going to be a world-class right back? No, but for £5 million here, you're going to get yourself someone that can lock down that position for a number of years. Now, you might look at this and say, Jake, I'm not going to be able to get him for £5 million. Don't worry, I've used the editor to allow myself some filters that will actually tell me the asking price of these players, and he is showing as less than 5 mil. So if you went in there and bid that much, hopefully in your saves, you can get it over the line as well. But we stay in Spain Spain for a slightly more elite option where we take a look at Thierry Correa. He is the best of the right backs that I'll be showing you. Again, is an option at left back, but he is a future Portuguese international, I am sure, in your saves. He's 24 and playing for Valencia, available for about 13-14 million pounds. He's got some good player traits, some very nice attributes, and with plenty of years left in the tank to get better yet, he is a great option for any team looking for an attacking minded fullback. But now it's time to flip on over to the opposite flank, where we'll be taking a look at left back options. And if you're limited on budget and only have £1 million to spend, then you might want to take a look at Junior Hernandez. He's a Colombian 24-year-old playing for Deportes Tolima, a team out in Colombia. Now with these players, if you don't see them in your save, it's probably because your database isn't big enough to include all of them, but don't worry, there's so many players in this list that I'm sure the majority will be in your save. So if one doesn't appear, don't worry too much about it. But should you have Colombian players loaded or the Colombian divisions, you will see this great option available for £1 million, 24. So again, a few years to get better still. Lots of really well-rounded attributes, particularly in those mental areas. He is a great option. But if you've got a little bit more money, then you might want to check out the Brazilian 22-year-old Luan Candido. And I think he's a great option here. I mean, he's wanted by some big clubs, so that tells you that this guy is a talent. He's playing for Red Bull Bragantino, known in game as BRA, if you don't have a name fix on, in the Brazilian leagues. And as you can see, a very, very, very good option. Technically, especially, this guy can do literally everything. He's got great attributes in every area, bar corners. So if you can forgive that, you'll be okay. Good going forward, good defensively, works hard, nice physicals and mentals. A fantastic pickup for a few mil. But the premium option I'm going for at left back has to be Sergi Cardona of Las Palmas, a team out in Spain in the Spanish First Division. Now you can go ahead and sign him for about £12 million or so. He is wanted by Aston Villa and is leaving on a free transfer at the end of his first season, so scout him and you might be able to get him for absolutely nothing come the end of the year. He's a fantastic pick, and just to let you know, for you guys watching who might be saying, this player's moved to this club in real life now, they're no longer at that team. Well, here I am using the standard FM database after the winter update, but should you want updated transfers, updated teams, promotions and relegations, new Wonderkids, and player ability changes, then you can check out our FM24 to FM25 DLC, which I'll link in the description. It's completely free for anyone that wants it. It's a very nice addition to have, but because the majority of people will still be on the normal version of FM, I'm going to be using that as the basis of today's video. But in most cases, these players will still be at their clubs in the DLC and will still be great options for the price. Moving on to the centre-backs now, where I'll actually be giving two options for each tier. So let's start with the cheap ones. For under £1 million, you can sign a Paraguayan international playing for Olimpia, one of the biggest sides out in Paraguay. His name is Sal Saicedo. He's a right-footed defender. Is he Virgil van Dijk? Of course he's not, but he's good in the air. He's got some good physicals, decent with the ball at his feet, works hard, some nice mental attributes too. You can't ask for too much more. But if that wasn't good enough for you, then there's another option here for under £1 million. At Partizan out in Serbia, you'll find 23-year-old former under-21 international Svetozar Markovic. Again, he's not Sergio Ramos, he's not Thiago Silva, but he is a great option for about 500k. Lots of top attributes. He'll be good for you, and then you can sell him on within a year or so for 10, 15, 20 million, depending on how well he does. But if you've got a bit more money to spend, then check out Equatorial Guinea's international Sal Coco, who again is at Las Palmas, seems to be the place for some bargains in this video. 24 years of age, well-rounded, and available to be signed for about 3 or 4 mil. And for a little bit more, but still underneath that £5 million bracket, you can sign Amos Pieper, who is playing for Werder Bremen out in the German divisions. 25 years of age, very good with the ball at his feet, works extremely hard, he's versatile, and he's also got great teamwork, heading ability, and he's 6'4", great for a centre-back. If your budget is slightly larger though, and you can just branch out a little bit more, then head on over to Lazio for Nicolo Caselle, a 25-year-old Italian defender who is going to cost you about 6 million. Very good in the tackle, also really good when it comes to the ball-playing side of the game, but as most Italians are, he is a great defender. 15 positioning, 15 marking, 15 heading, 16 anticipation. What more could you want? Well, maybe you want him to be an absolute physical monster, and if that is the case, then you want to go for Kevin Danzo instead. A little bit more pricey, but he is one for the top teams. The Austrian international is playing at Lens out in France, and what an option he is. 6'3", a physical beast, but also very good at everything else too. If you're after a defensive midfielder, then again we're looking at a Paraguayan international. Cerro Porteño is the club that he's playing for. This is Jorge Morel, a 25-year-old, available for about 500k. Now, is he Rodri? Is he Caicedo? Of course, he's not going to be, else he'd all know about him, but he works hard, he's good on the ball, he's going to throw in a tackle, and he's certainly worth more than this value. But for a slightly higher caliber of player, you might want to head on over to Fenerbahce, where you'll find Ismail Yüksek, a Turkish international 24-year-old, who is good in a lot of areas, but it's mentally where he really stands out with some top attributes at that level. But if you're competing in Europe, then you might want to sign this man, Algerian international, 23 years of age, Hicham Bouadaoui, who can still get way better than what we're seeing here. He plays for Nice out in France and is going to cost you about 12 mil. He is the best that we've seen when it comes to the ball playing ability, but also can tackle, works really hard, he's determined, he's got great dribbling and first touch too, a proper classy midfielder. When it comes to centre mid bargains though, of course, the name on this list is going to be Alejandro Zendejas, who is going to cost you nothing. He actually might be a little bit wary to join your club because he is a pretty high caliber of player, so depending on who you are, you might not be able to get this one done, but if you're after a bargain, he has been one of the biggest this year in FM at Club America. I mean, look at those attributes. 200k maybe for this kind of player is unreal. Let's say you can't get him and you've still got a pretty sizable budget, then check out Eric Sanchez, who you can sign for a couple million quid, 4 million, something like that, for a Mexican international, 23 years of age, wanted by Liverpool and Tottenham. I don't think I need to sell him much more than that. But if you're a high roller with a bunch of money and you're looking for one of the stars of the future, then go ahead to Krasnodar in Russia, spend 12 million quid and bring in Armenian 23-year-old Edward Spirzian, who can play attacking mid, can play centre mid, but as you can see, has some unreal attributes. A great goal scorer, a great creator with lots of upside to get better too. This is a no-brainer. For our attacking midfielder, we have a Spanish 22-year-old. This is the bargain option, available for about 500k, Antonio Moyano, who is playing for Sabadell. They're a team in the low leagues of Spain, and to be able to sign him for only 500k or so is an absolute bargain. Can play centre mid, can play attacking mid, can play pretty much anywhere on the pitch, and for that value will be a great pickup. If you're rolling in a little bit more dough, then you might want to check out one of my favourite bargains of this year's game, Morlai Silla of Arouca out in Portugal. He's a 24-year-old Ghanaian international, and as you can see, some top attributes for only 3 million. And then a player that I've recently used myself in my own Wolfsburg rebuild and found him to be one of the best I've used this year, Jonas Wind, who is a striker option but can also play in that attacking midfield spot. A great creator, really good finisher too, lots of top attributes. Yes, he will cost you 15 million, but he has the potential, and I've seen it, to become a 50-60 million pound player in no time. When it comes to left wing bargains, there's probably none better than Daniel Ruiz of Millonarios FC, a Colombian international 21-year-old with a lot of potential, who you can sign for 500k. This is a certified Wonderkid. For a few million pounds more, you'll be able to sign Marcelo Allende, a Chilean international 24-year-old who can play either wing, can also play centre mid. He's currently playing for Sundowns in South Africa, but has the attributes to play at a Premier League level. But the premium signing that I'm picking out for the left wing spot is Armand Lorient, who can play left or right side, is playing for Sassuolo in the Italian divisions, a 24-year-old Frenchman with great dribbling ability and lots of nice physical attributes. He's got speed, he's got passing vision and technique, great crossing, first touch, finishing's good, free kicks are good. You can't ask for too much more. Have him cutting in on his right foot from the left wing and he will do wonders. On the opposite wing though, my bargain option is Javi Ontiveros, who's playing for Villarreal and pretty much stays in their B team until his contract is up. He can play left or right side, is available for 1 million. Yes, he is 25, but I think for that price, he could still do a great job. If you were to take him to the Championship, I think he'd compete very well at that level, and for that price, you can't really say no to it. For a little bit more money, you can sign a player playing out in Bulgarian team Ludogorets. This is Bernard Tekpeti, a 25-year-old Ghanaian international who might lack a little bit technically and mentally. Is still okay, mind you, but does lack slightly, but has some great pace and acceleration to really run past his opponent on that wing. And if you know about it this year, pace is absolutely vital in FM. But a great right-wing option who can also play left wing and striker that I've had great success with recently is Cucho Hernandez, a Colombian international playing for Colombia Columbus Crew out in the MLS. Now, he is someone that I signed personally for a Leicester rebuild that I did. I bought him in to be the Jamie Vardy replacement, and he was hitting 15 goals in the Prem pretty much straight away. So to be able to sign that for £8-9 million, I think is a great deal. But now we get into our strikers, the final position of the video, where the bargain has to be the one and only Monterrey striker, German Bertrame, an Argentinian 24-year-old, available for under £1 million, wanted by Premier League clubs. And with these attributes, I'd actually go as far as saying he could play for a top 6 Prem side and do a decent job, maybe even as just a backup striker. But for £1 million, I mean, what a no-brainer he is. If he's off the market and you still have a bit of cash to play with, then check out Asa Villabre, who is a player at Athletic Bilbao who they might be willing to sell for only a few £1,000,000. He is definitely not a running behind pacey striker, but if you're looking for someone that's really complete in his game, then he is a great option. He's 6 foot, he's got really nice physical attributes, really well-balanced mentals as well, a good finisher who works hard, can hit a penalty, can pass pretty well, can head the ball, a complete option to be that main focal point for your side. But if you've got a bit more money to spend, for our final player, I have got the striker at Augsburg by the name of Ermedin Demirovic. Now, he's done real well in real life last season for Augsburg. He's a Bosnian international, 25 years of age, can play left side or striker. But I mean, up front, much like the last player we looked at, he's just really complete. A lot going for his game, mentally as well. Near enough a perfect prospect for a striker. A brilliant option, and you can see why the likes of West Ham would be interested. But there you go, there's 3 options for every single position for you. Yes, I know if you're maybe, you know, in the 5th tier of England, you're not going to be able to sign these guys. You might have to look in a completely different pool of players. But for most saves, I think this will cover pretty much everyone with some great options. If you have enjoyed, smash the like button, let us know your favourites down below, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.